Hey everyone, today we are making one of our family's favorite recipes, onion crackers. Onion crackers are something that we use all the time for dipping sauces, and they're really easy to make. They're very healthy and there's only 5 ingredients. So let's go ahead and get started. I'll show you the ingredients it takes to make these. So of course it's onion crackers. So the first ingredients or onions, and I'm making a double batch recipe because I share this with my family whenever I make it. So the tools you're going to need is a knife, a food processor, and I'm using a dehydrator, but I will show you the option if you need to use an oven. You can also use an oven. You don't have to go and buy a dehydrator. So I'm doubling the recipe, and so I am starting with organic onions. See my bag back here? I got these at Costco, but you can find them at your local grocery store, organic. And I'm doubling it, so I have cut up 6 large onions, but if you're doing a regular recipe, it just calls for 3 onions. And then sunflower seeds, raw sunflower seeds. I'm using 1.5 cups, but a half recipe is 3/4 cup. And then whole raw flax seeds, and you can use the golden or the brown. And I have 1.5 cups of these as well. Regular recipe is 3/4 cup. And then the next ingredient is organic tamari, or you can use an organic soy sauce, such as name will show you. That's another good one. But this one is gluten-free. And so in our household, we do everything gluten-free. And this one's an organic tamari by Sanjay. And it's 1 cup in this recipe. Normally, 1/2 cup in a standard recipe. And then olive oil. And that one is 1/3 cup in a regular recipe, and I'm using 2/3 cup here. So this is the olive oil I've told you about in the past. It's part of the Fresh Pressed Olive Oil Club. And so if you're really wanting to get a good quality olive oil, you want to make sure that you're getting it from a reputable company, and this one is. So I'll show you on here, Fresh Pressed Olive Oil Club. And they'll send you from different regions, mainly in Europe, where they make a lot of olive oil. And so you'll get a different single origin batch. And you can get either 1, 2, or 3 bottles at a time, and they'll auto ship. So you get, for as much olive oil as you use, you can get a monthly or a quarterly shipment of it. So those are the ingredients. And I want to show you on the food processor, this slicer blade. We're going to start by cutting up the onions. So I've only quartered them, skinned them and quartered them. And now the first thing we do is we want to slice the onions so that your onion cracker, the slices of the onion are very thin. So it's not too bumpy, and it'll actually make a nice cracker. So we'll start by feeding the onions into the slicer blade on the food processor. Okay, so we had to dump 1 time because the double recipe, all the onions won't fit in that you're slicing. So I'm going to pull the slicer blade out. I'm now done with that. And I'm going to dump all of my onions. I'm going to use a spatula and want to make sure I get all of them. All right, and then next up, we have the rest of the mixture, and we're going to use an S blade. So we took the slicer blade out, and now we're going to put in the S blade, and then we can just add our ingredients. So again, this is a double recipe. So 1.5 cups of the sesame seeds that are raw. And then the flax seeds. I have 1.5 cups of these. And these are the dark brown. I usually use the gold ones, but this is what I found at the grocery store when I went. And so we'll go ahead and just with the sunflower seeds and the flax seeds, we want to grind those into a fine consistency. Okay, so these are nicely ground. We ground them for about 2 minutes, so you can see the consistency of the mixture. It no longer resembles flaxseed and sunflower seeds whole. It's a good grind of the mixture. And so we'll leave that in there, and then we're going to add the organic tamari, and just kind of slowly add it in there. And the olive oil. Put the top back on and bring that to a nice blend. Okay, so we have it all nice and blended. So we go ahead and pull the base off, and the first thing I usually do is get rid of the S blade. So I might have to do a little cleanup work with the spatula. It's all going in the same bowl, so don't worry if there's onions on your spatula. And it is a little thicker, that's okay. Once you get it into the onions and we massage it in, it's actually gonna water down quite a bit. So we just add the mixture. And most of the mixture is the consistency of almond butter or peanut butter. So you know you're right if that's the consistency that you have. Okay. So now what we're going to do is you're actually going to have to wash your hands and use your hands to massage the mixture and make sure it's really evenly mixed with the onions. We'll make sure we have all the mixture in there. So my hands are washed. And as I squeeze, the onions actually release more of their water. And I'm going to keep working it. This probably takes maybe a minute to 2 minutes. It also helps if your bowl is a nice size. So I have a little bit bigger bowl. I sometimes use, it's a big stainless bowl. Okay guys, so that is it. That is your mixture, your batter to make the crackers. And so I'm gonna go ahead and show you how to spread it onto either a baking pan. So if you're gonna put this in your oven, you'll need a baking pan with parchment paper. And so you'll just spread it about a 1/2 inch thick. And you can make it in a rectangle shape. I'm going to show you on my dehydrator sheet. So this is what a dehydrator sheet looks like. There's 2 layers. There's the Teflex sheet, and then there's a screen. And so you'll just leave the screen on the bottom because as you're cooking it, you're going to flip it. So if you're doing it in a dehydrator, you're going to put it, the adjustment is about halfway, about 120. And you'll cook that for 12 hours. And then when you go to flip it, you'll just take the screen and set it on top and then flip it, and then you pull the paper back. And so then it cooks another 12 hours on the screen. So just showing you how that works. It's very simple. And a dehydrator, there's a lot of things that you can do with it. You can make jerkies, you can make flax crackers, different crackers. You can dehydrate vegetables, season in them. You can dehydrate nuts and make them different seasonings. So I use my dehydrator quite a bit. So when you take the mixture, just spoon a little bit at a time. You don't want to make a mess. And what you're going to do, like for this size sheet, is about 2 good scoops. So just showing you the amount that you're going to have is about 2 big spatula scoops. And then you're going to take that, scooch over where you can see, and you're just going to press. And then as you get it worked out, then you can start just gliding across the top, and it's going to smooth it. And remember, it's got the olive oil in there, and so it does glide after you get it smoothed out a little bit. So you'll make it, the dehydrator sheet is a square, so you'll just bring it as far as you can to the corners. But you do want to coat it. You don't want to see through and, You might need to add a little bit more if your mixture is getting a little thin as you're pressing it out. So you don't want to see the wrapper, because what will happen is when you finish dehydrating or cooking them in the oven, you want to be able to cut them into a cracker. And if you have a bunch of holes in it, they won't cut into a cracker. They'll just be, and that's okay. Like the first few times I made the onion bread, I did that. And so what I ended up with, and I'm going to show you this little bonus that you'll get from this recipe when you're cutting them, or if there's too many holes, and so when you go, it just kind of breaks up. Has anybody ever tried those French fried onions in a can? They're really bad for you. This is a better version, a healthy version, but it tastes the same like the French fried onions. So if you have little parts after you cook them that fall apart, no big deal. You can put this in your refrigerator and have a great salad topping. You can sprinkle it on anything that you want to have like that French fried onion taste. And so it's delicious, and it's a good bonus. So once you get it about a ½ inch thick, then again, you're just gonna pop it into the dehydrator, and you'll just continue. I have 5 shelves. It depends on what size dehydrator you have, but you'll just keep working, and then once you get it filled up with your onion cracker batter, then you'll just put the cover on, and you'll crank it to about halfway, so about 120 degrees, and it's 12 hours. Flip it, take the sheet off. It'll just be on the screen. It's another 12 hours. And then if you're cooking it in your oven, 150 degrees, your lowest temperature in the oven, and you can cook it about 6 hours, and then flip it and then cook it another 6 hours. So you can speed it up if you want it crispier. You can go a little higher on the temperature, which will make a shorter interval, but that's the 2 ways that we've made it. So this is a great recipe. It's super healthy. It's nice to have a cracker that has good fiber. Onions are excellent in antioxidants, and they're antibacterial. And then when you add the sunflower seeds and the flax seeds, just a really good fiber. So these are keto friendly, they're paleo friendly, and you can eat as much as you'd like. And so if you like this recipe and you want to see more, make sure you subscribe, and then hit the alert below the video also, so you're notified of future videos, and like and share these videos with your family if you think they would enjoy them as well. I'm Dr. Katie Snow, helping you to transform your health naturally. See you next time. Bye-bye.